I'd like to get your reaction from what we got over the weekend from Donald Trump's strikes over Iran. I would like to get an idea if you have an appraisal of how imminent the threat from the Iranian nuclear program was. Was the American action in violation of international law, as Emmanuel Macron has suggested?
Well, the international law says, gives you good two reasons where you can use force. One is self-defense, and the other one is by the mandate of the Security Council. So those who use force have to also justify that it complies with the international rules.
And are you satisfied that it does, or you're not sort of in a position to make that appraisal quite yet?
Well, that is not up to us to say, really. Of course, we have said that the Atomic Energy Association needs to have assessment and also get an access to the nuclear sites and everything that is concerning Iran. Europe has always been very concerned that Iran does not acquire a nuclear weapon. We have been very clear on that.
And onto the business of NATO, are you confident that everybody will sign on without caveat, without exception to the 5% NATO goal tomorrow morning? Are we going to get that, or do you think that Spain is going to pose a problem there?
Well, we have heard, of course, Spain raising the issues that they are raising. I think it's important that we get the decision of moving to 5%. It's a very ambitious target, also requires a lot of difficult decisions from member states. That is very clear. And, the trouble with the defense spending is that you need to do it while you have peace. And actually, people don't need or don't see the necessity of the defense spending. But when you actually need it, it's too late because of everything. And right now the understanding for everybody is that we need to invest more in order to deter aggressors from looking our way.
And have you spoken to Pedro Sánchez? Are you afraid that this could potentially endanger the whole sort of project here?
Of course, NATO Secretary General is working on that. I try to keep the European countries together, and we have also put forward, different means how member states can do this. I mean, opening financial possibilities for member states to actually spend more, and also how we can do more jointly, joint procurement, joint projects, because the defense is regional, not national anymore.
And you also hailed from the eastern flank of NATO. I'd like to get your reaction onto the timeline, hitting the target by 2035. Do you think that opens up to a little bit of sort of being able to fudge the rules a little bit and not spending on time to, as you say, build up those defenses before you need them?
If we look back in 2014, we had a pledge of spending at least 2% of GDP by 2024, and we know that not all the countries were there. And therefore, I really commend Mark Rutte for doing this work. Really specifically now, what are the conditions really for this 5%? And when, you also have assessment, step-by-step approach that you move towards that target. But of course, like I said, it's difficult for everybody.
And as we await Donald Trump's arrival here, what does success look like here in your mind, particularly vis-a-vis the American president?
This summit has one issue and one issue only: to get the agreement to move to 5% of defense spending. This has been something that President Trump has been saying and calling for, in his first time in office, and I think now everybody is really following this.
And then on the way over here on Air Force One, he was asked about Article 5, whether or not the United States would basically sort of honor it. He said that that it depends on the definition of Article 5, that he will give a definition of Article 5 when he arrives here, and he's committed to helping leaders who are friends. What do you make of those comments?
Well, Article 5 is very clear. There's also Article 3 that says that everybody should do utmost for their own defense. So this is what this 5% is all about. And Article 5 is about, when attack on one is attack on all. It's very, very clear.
And then do you get concerned, because with the Trump administration we see a lot of overlap between trade, between defense, between foreign policy, your domain. Could something like that sort of weaponizing of Article 5, sort of moving the goalpost to try to get other sort of policy goals for the Trump administration, is that something that concerns you?
Well, of course, Trump administration has to speak for themselves, how they operate and how they manage. I think from our side, it's important what we do. What we do for our member states, and really, I think keeping our act together and also using the allies to increase our geopolitical influence when it comes to diplomacy that we have been always supportive of, and when it comes to also trade relations with the countries all around the world.
Another focus for you, I know, will be Ukraine and the fact that the Biden aid package will likely run out sometime during the summer, towards the end of the summer. What comes next for Ukraine? How do you keep this present in the minds of people, given particularly what's going on in the Middle East that's taken up a lot of bandwidth?
Yes, exactly. Every new war takes the attention off from the war that is going on, and we are in a situation where Ukraine agreed to unconditional ceasefire already 100 days ago, whereas Russia is still playing games and not agreeing to this. So what do we do from our side? We try to put more pressure on Russia by moving forward with the 18th package of sanctions, and also give more to Ukraine so that they are able to defend themselves. We have already this year, 2024, supported Ukraine militarily by 24 billion euros, which is more than last year. But we are doing more. We have the 2 million rounds initiative. Already 80% of that has been pledged by the member states. But of course, the situation is dire and we need to do more.
Does that put more urgency and potentially pressure on the question of Russian frozen assets? And there's also been an idea sort of floating around that if maybe it's too complicated to touch the assets themselves, could they be shifted, those investments, into something more risky, higher yielding in order to generate more cash? Is that something that the EU would push for?
We have an upcoming discussion actually dedicated to this topic and this topic only. There are different creative solutions coming up from different member states, and we need to really weigh the risks and get to a common position because we need everybody on board.
And do you think that the EU will arrive to a trade deal with the United States by the deadline of July the 9th?
Our trade people are working hard.
And then just a sort of final comment here. We've had comments from Mark Carney, who described Canada as the most European of non-European countries, looking for further, building a better relationship with the European Union. Would you be looking at candidates outside of Europe for being part of the European Union?
I got this question that Canada wants to join European Union, and of course, we have all the friends in the world, which is good. I also said that maybe a bit obstacle is that they are not geographically in Europe, and they had an answer to this: Arctic. We are connected via Arctic, so who knows?